First of all, I would like to introduce myself. Sayyid Wajid Shah, lecturer in English, Govt Degree College Thul, District Jacobabad. So our topics are derived and taken from this book. This one is a book which is correlated with our intermediate syllabus. Selection from English word. The English verse means a poem. Versification means poetry. No doubt, there are so many poems in English literature, but there's a few selected poems are given in this book, and selected along with Paramount. So, selection from English was first year and intermediate syllabus. So, there are a few topics we have to mention and argue on these topics. First of all, we would like to discuss on the origin of versification or origin of poetry. Okay? First of all, we should tell you that what is poetry or versification, the same thing. So regarding to many critics, many poets and other literary figures which are related with English literature, some of them say that poetry is a spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings, and some of them say that it is metrical composition. Poetry, no doubt, it's an expression of inner feelings. So this one is the origin of poetry. Beowulf poem in English literature, it was found in Anglo-Saxon period. But we don't say something about its regularity. When we mention about the regularity of the English verse, it is found in medieval period. So the medieval period was concerned and belonged with Geoffrey Chaucer. Geoffrey Chaucer was a man of medieval period. It was 14th century in English literature. So Geoffrey Chaucer provided, presented and invented so many literary terms, just like forms of poetry, elements of poetry and other essential units of poetry. All of them were presented by Geoffrey Chaucer. Therefore, he was regarded and rewarded as father of English poetry. Okay, this one was the origin of versification. So, first work in which we found something about the poetry and the versification, especially in English language, and this was Canterbury Tales. Canterbury Tales was written by Geoffrey Chaucer. This was a travelogue to the shrine of Thomas Becket. There are so many tales. Out of all tales, there are only two. A couple of tales are told in prose, but remains all are told in poetry. So this is the origin of versification. Now we are going to the elements of poetry. Elements of poetry which give us the elementary knowledge about versification. So this one is the significance of elements of poetry. Okay, by the help of elements of poetry, we can measure, we can compose, we can hear, and we can read poetry easily, and with the rules and regulations of prosody. So this one is the significance of elements of poetry. So the first element is line. Okay, first element of poetry is line. Line. Okay, any line. Suppose we are taking a line from the work of John Keats. Suppose a thing of beauty is joy forever. Okay, I think of beauty is joy for all. This one is only a single line. We cannot measure, we cannot compare it to another line because there isn't any following line or subordinate line, because this one is coordinate line. It's not couplet. This one is only line. Therefore, it is called the base and fundamental knowledge, elementary knowledge of versification. Okay, this one is a line. So we can say that a line is an irregular piece of verse containing on stressed and unstressed syllables. Uh, that's a thing. We must know about the syllable. What syllable? Which is involved in the formation of line. The syllable. A trick or a turn of a tongue is called syllable. Okay? So the syllable, it has so many types. Just like a word, suppose car, another word cap. This one is monosyllable containing on only a single turn of a tongue. Well, this one is monosyllable, and a word which is pronounced into two turns of tongue, it is called bisyllable or disyllable. Well, trisyllable, any word which is pronounced with three turns of tongue, and this one is lengthy. And polysyllable, more than three syllable, is called polysyllable word. Okay, so there's an involvement of stress and unstressed syllables in line. The line is basic knowledge for composing, hearing, reading, poetry or versification. Okay, so next one is foot. Next topic from the elements of poetry is foot. So this one is also a rhythmical unit to learn about stress, pauses, and line divisions. With the help of foot, we can measure that this stanza is iambic because there's involvement of stress and unstress, long and short syllables. Okay, with the help of this foot, we can consider that this stanza is foot. You know that what's a stanza? A unit of lines in poetry is called a stanza, or a group of lines in poetry is called a stanza, or another meaning. In organization of lines in poetry is called a stanza. Okay, we can consider, we can guess, we can notice, and we can measure that this stanza is iambic or not by the help of foot. Therefore, because this one is rhythmical unit to learn about stress, pauses, and line division, iambic. Well, where there is the involvement of five syllables, we can say it pentameter, because penta means five. Okay, so what is metrical composition? So foot has three, and regarding to my study, foot has three parts. Number first is called Trauki. It is pronounced at Trauki, Traushi, or Trauchi. Okay, so in a stanza, we can guess that this Trauki. How we can guess? There's the involvement of one long syllable is one short syllable is followed by one long syllable. Okay, so this one is Trauchi, a part of foot. We can measure any poetry with the help of these parts of foot. And another part of foot is anapest. Anapest. There's also involvement of stressed syllable and unstressed syllable. There's an involvement of two stressed syllable to one unstressed syllable. Two must be long syllable, one must be short syllable. Okay, anopest. And third one is I think dactyl. Dactyl. This is a combination of three syllables. This is the foot. By the help of foot, we can measure, we can compare any poetry with the help of rules and regulation, which is so called prosody. Okay. So third and essential element of poetry. This one is the alliteration. Alliteration. So alliteration is a technique, a literary term, particularly used in poetry. In this, we have to apply, any poet has to compose a line, and in the same line he had to alliterate minimum two word. Minimum two word. This one is alliteration. Minimum two word which are started with same sound. With same sound. Suppose just an example. Unwept, unhonored, and unsung. This one is alliteration. Un. Okay. The initial or the beginning of these words are pronounced with un. So this one is the alliteration, and alliteration is the main tool of poetry. Some critics said that this one is a technique to embellish your poetry. Alliteration. Okay. And next element of poetry is rhyme, and this is an element which differentiate and which discriminate between prose and poetry. Where there is rhyme, it is called poetry. Where there isn't rhyme, it is called prose. There's a difference of day and night, up and down. Okay? Rhyme. So how we can guess that this one is rhyme? It is noticed, it is considered that ending homophones are known as rhymes. Ending homophones are known as rhyme. The ending of two lines, minimum two lines, couplet or quatrain, their ending should be same. It is called rhyme, and this one is the main tool of poetry, versification, and it is not present in prose. So rhyme plays paramount role in poetry. Okay. Any poetry which is composed without rhyme, it is called unrhymed verse or free verse. And in other words, we can say it blank verse, or there isn't in rhyme, but it has taste and sense of poetry, no doubt. This one is rhyme. And fifth one, okay, and fifth one is imagery. Fifth one is imagery. Okay, imagery. Imagery means picture. It is derived from taken from image, picture. This one is mental picture, but belongs to poet. A poet tries to depict a picture of society, of any scenario, of living being, of anything, of a marvelous building or another thing. So then he tries to compose poetry. This is called imagery. Okay. So there are so many poems which are in the shape of in this book, selection from English book. It means idyll. Idyll is also a part of or a kind of imagery, because there is a depiction of picture, but correlated with country life. So imagery has two parts. Number one, simile. Number two, metaphor. Simile and metaphor. So imagery. These two subparts are imagery and metaphor. So simile shows that there is the comparison of two things, and shown with the help of as and like. He is as bold, as brave as lion. He is as cool as ice. So metaphor, there's the avoidance of and it is used without the help of life, and as Tipu Sultan is the tiger of Bengal, camel is the ship of desert. So there isn't any usage of like and as the same thing. So these are the elements of poetry.